Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. So what we're going to do today, and we're going to just keep changing things up to keep it interesting. I have one of my personal training clients is on this Zoom call taking yoga. And I have someone else on the call that are having issues with shoulders, and Kerry's actually dealing with an issue with her wrist. So what we decided to do today is we're going to teach the level 2 class. I'm going to do the typical level 2 movements, and Kerry's going to show the modifications at the same time. So it'll kind of be nice for those of you that maybe in the future when you have this video on demand next month that you'll be able to say, hey, you know what, I'm not really feeling like doing the entire vinyasa class. This is an option that I can take and feel comfortable with. Sound good?
Great.
Woohoo! Okay. So we've got our camera rolling and we're ready to go. So if you could go ahead and mute your phones, that would be awesome. And we will see you in 60 minutes on the other side of the class. So find child's pose, please.
Hey, Doug.
And if you're wondering why I'm wearing my hat, I still have not much hair left, but I have this concoction of oil in my hair. And if I don't keep the hat on, I think I'll pass out from the intoxication from all these essential oils. So anyway, here we go. Child's pose. So just sink back into your mat. And remember, I always give you this cue. If you can see, like with Kerry here, she may need to open up her knees just a little bit more to get more depth in that child's pose. You know, and if that feels more comfortable for your knees, then go ahead and do that. From here, let's just press the forearms into the mat, let the elbows reach, drop the head, and take 3 breaths here. I want you to breathe in through your nose and gently exhale out through your nose. Gently purse your lips, and remember, I say this all the time, this is what gets the parasympathetic nervous system kicked into gear. Our cortisol levels are so high right now because of everything going on outside of our homes that we really need to find ways to bring balance into the body. We know that's what yoga does, but it's linking the breath and movement and then really activating and tapping into that parasympathetic rest and digest part of our nervous system. Notice Kerry's head's just melted down. She's releasing all the tension here. With every exhale, she's just able to drape her body towards the floor a little bit more. Take one more breath here, and on an inhale, come up to all fours. Now you're gonna watch Kerry, she's gonna go fist for wrist because this movement is bothering her wrist. So I'll be flat. You're gonna take a nice deep breath, inhale, and lift your heart to the top of your mat and take your gaze with it for cow pose. Tailbone, shake your tail feathers up to the sky. Exhale, round out to cat pose. Deep breath, inhale, lift your heart. And then exhale, round up your spine. I'm just gonna shift this camera a little bit so you can see better. There we go. Take another deep breath, inhale, cat pose. On the exhale, you're going to cat. She's pulling her belly button up to her spine and rounding out as much as she can. On the inhale, she's dropping everything. Tailbone goes to the sky, shoulder blades gently squeezed into the spine, and heart's at the top of the mat. Now, find a flat back. I want you to imagine you're pulling all the muscle from the sides of your body into your belly, belly to spine. She's still fist for wrist. On an inhale, lift your left arm and take your right leg behind you for spinal balance. I want you to imagine creating space from the top of those fingertips and pushing the heel away from the torso. You're pushing the heel away and feel how that brings extension to the right hip, right? Now, on the exhale, bring your hand down to the floor. Deep breath, inhale, switch sides, spinal balance. So you're reaching your fingertips away and pushing that heel away. Hold for one more breath, and then bring the hand and knee back. We're gonna do this one more time, but we're gonna add a neuromuscular challenge here. So you're reaching your fingertips away, pushing the heel away. Close your eyes for 2 breaths. Watch what happens. See the wobbling, right? You took away part of your sensory, so your body has to overcompensate to stay balanced. Exhale, come down. Nice deep breath, inhale, reach away, fingertips go away. You're looking at the floor, find the pose, and then close your eyes for 2 breaths. Is this side a little bit more wobbly than the other? And then bring everything down to the mat. Go ahead and just do one cat pose here. Let your body reach up, pull the shoulder blades away from the spine, and then find a flat back. Tip your toes under and drive your hips up to downward facing dog. Now Kerry's gonna have to spread her fingertips to get to downward dog here. But what I'm gonna ask her to do here, instead of putting so much pressure here, is really put more pressing into the mat. Does that help take the pressure off the wrist? Yeah. And focus on the posterior part of the body. Let your head melt down towards the mat and shake it out. Just say yes and no. No to cold temperatures, but yes to an abundance of snow to play in. All right, so we're here in downward dog. Maybe rock our hips a little bit side to side. Again, spread those fingertips wide. If your shoulder's bothering you, don't let the chest melt to the thighs too deeply. On an inhale, take your gaze to the top of your mat and walk your feet up to meet your hands. Hang in ragdoll pose. So you're going to gently take your arms and wrap them together and grab with each hand, an elbow, and just drape your body forward. Just decompress everything. Take another deep breath, inhale, and let your hands go. Find your first halfway lift for the day. So hands could be above or below the knee, or if you can maintain integrity in your spine, hands could be to the floor. Make sure you squeeze through here. So lift your heart and squeeze through there. Beautiful. Do you feel the difference in your core? And you find she's got all this fantastic length now there. So she's really able to access more strength in the pose, more core activation, which will better support the musculature in her low back. Exhale, fold to the floor. Nice deep breath, inhale, rise on up to stand. Bring your hands to heart center and exhale. Take 2 breaths here. I staggered so I wouldn't knock you out.
I wasn't sure.
Good, now release that. Take a deep breath, inhale, lift your heart to the top of your mat, reach, create length in the sides of your body, and now exhale, fold down to the floor. Take a nice deep breath, inhale, halfway lift. Access that, yeah, there you go, Kerry, beautiful. See, so once you do it once, your body knows where to be. Exhale, fold. On the inhale, bring your hands down to the floor, step back, high plank. Now we're gonna pause here for a second. Kerry is not going to be doing the vinyasa flow. She's just going to be holding in plank. If it gets to be too gnarly on her wrist, she's going to drop to her knees. I want you to imagine pulling all the muscle from the sides of your body into your belly, belly to spine. Squeeze your glutes together and squeeze the inner thighs. They don't have to touch, but there's just activation there, and push energy out of your heel. The minute you add the adductors, it helps to lift up on the pelvic floor, so you're getting more bang for your buck in every plank. Now, with that, take a deep breath, inhale. You're going to stay there. Okay. Exhale, allow the elbows to slide next to the torso. Pause for a minute. Feel the energy in the back of the arms. Inhale, upward facing dog. Beautiful. Exhale, downward facing dog. So that's it. With these vinyasas, if you don't feel like today is your day to be flowing like that, you just hang out in plank. Let your head melt down to the floor and just release what you can in downward dog or your plank. Gently on your inhale, lift your eyes to the top of your mat. You can jump or walk your feet to meet your hands. Inhale, half lift. So access that strength and length through your core. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Happy smiley faces because we're doing our body good. Exhale, fold. Step or float your feet back, high plank. Stay there or follow me. Chaturanga, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, let's bicycle the heels a little bit. Find some length in the back of your calves. 2 breaths. Awesome. Now, lift your gaze to the top of your mat. Find balance between your heels. Step forward or float your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Reach and create length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step or float your feet back, high plank. Option for chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 1 breath, 1 movement. Okay, last sun salutation A, and then we're going to link some more movement up. Maybe rock your hips and rock your armpits. See if that releases any tension in the shoulder blades. Now, lift your gaze to the top of your mat. Step or float your feet forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step or float your feet back. High plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. The wrist okay? Exhale.
It's doing okay.
Downward facing dog. Okay. Right leg goes to the sky. Look to the top of your mat and step your right foot forward for warrior one. Remember, the left toe is going to go to the wide part of your mat and you reach your arms up. Good. All four corners of your feet are connected into the mat. Now, exhale, warrior two. So all you're going to do is change your gaze out into the front of your hand. Lift your core, keep everything nice and tight, and relax those shoulder blades down and back. Cartwheel your hands down to frame the front foot. Notice the back toe turns with you. Step back, high plank. Option for chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left toe goes up to the sky. Slide the left foot forward to meet the hands. Turn your right toe, rise up. Warrior one, left side. Exhale, warrior two. Gazes out over those front fingertips. Notice her great form. Knees right above that ankle. It's not collapsing in or out, meaning she's getting more work through her adductors. Go ahead and bring your hands down, frame the front foot, step back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Soften your knees, take your gaze to the top of your mat, and then slowly float your feet forward or walk forward and find chair pose. Option for Thunderbolt would be arms over your head. So you can take your pick where you'd like to be this morning. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Float your feet back, high plank or step back. Exhale, low push-up or stay in plank. One breath, one movement. Good job, ladies. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right side warrior one. Slowly just bring that foot forward. On the inhale, rise the arms up. Exhale, warrior two. Now bring those hands down. They frame the front foot. We step back, high plank. Inhale here. On the exhale, the breath helps us lower to the floor if we're taking that low push-up. We inhale, open the heart to the top of the mat, and then we exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, warrior one. How you feeling?
Good.
It's kind of nice to do this with somebody here. Exhale, warrior two. Fantastic. Cartwheel those hands down to frame the front foot. Turn your back toes, step back, high plank. With the breath, exhale, low push-up. With control and grace, inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now, look to the top of your mat. Soften your knees. You're either going to jog your feet forward or run up or pop up. Chair pose. Remember, you can have your hands out in front, on the side, on your hips. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step or float your feet back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. You okay?
Yeah.
Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, one more sun salutation. Right side, warrior one. Rise on up. Exhale, warrior two. So notice nothing moves from the hips down, right? Now we turn the back toe, bring the hands to sweep down to frame that front foot, step back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, warrior one. Rise on up. So remember these sun salutations build heat in the practice, just as if you were doing a workout at the gym, right? Exhale, warrior two. You always warm up before you add load. Same thing applies here. Go ahead and come on down to your mat, step back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath, and then we move to the top of our mat for Thunderbolt, chair pose. On your breakfast buffet of yoga this morning, find a place for your hands that feels best for you. Now fold to the floor. Inhale, half lift. Find length through your spine. Beautiful, Kerry. Exhale, fold. Step or float your feet back. High plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nicely done. Now, I want everyone to inhale here. Find a nice long plank and bring your forearms down to the mat. So we're going to give those wrists a little bit of a break here. Take your right toe off the floor. Tap the toe down for 8, 7, push your heel away, 6, 5, 4. You notice she's pushing, creating length through the hip. 2, 1, switch sides. 8, 7, strong core. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, walk your feet in towards your shoulders, your elbows, and look behind you, dolphin pose. Now, remember, dolphin pose, walk your feet in a little bit more and look behind you. Notice that her head is not touching the floor, right? So dolphin pose is a shoulder strengthener. Take one more breath. Slowly lower the knees down to the mat. Tip the toes under, find child's pose. Bring your hands back to the mat, and we're going to rise up to downward facing dog. Tip the toes under, lift the hips skyward. Take your right toe up to the sky. Step through for crescent lunge, right side. Inhale, toes are going in the same direction here. And I should have warned Kerry, my apartment is kind of lopsided. So balance work, you feel it? Balance work is very hard to hold here, but so if you see us all over the place, we weren't having wine before practice. Exhale, bring that back knee down. Tip the toe under. On your next exhale, I want you to twist your body and look to the right. So she's going to open up her arms all the way to the side, shoulders down and back. She's going to feel amazing length there, right? Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Inhale, bring those arms back up. Exhale, twist to the left. Try not to let that knee collapse in. Think of energy going down to the heel. Inhale, rise the arms up. Here's a little bit of love for you on a Tuesday morning. Exhale, bring the hands down to frame the front foot. Stay there. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale this time, drive the right big toe up to the sky and allow that right cheek to go back towards the back of your mat. Circle your foot 4 times. That feel amazing?
Yeah.
Good. Now set the foot back down, drop the hip, stay here, reach your left arm up. Now you're going to feel length from the heel of the hand all the way down. We're just pausing here. Now bring the hand down to the inside of the right foot. Option to tip the left toe under and rise up like I just did. and then twist to the right. Or you can stay with the knee down just like Kerry's showing. So you've got options all the time, right? And remember, pain is your body's brakes. If you have any pain, you back out of the pose. Bring the hand down to frame the foot. Step back, high plank. Okay? Option if you want to take a chaturanga or stay in high plank. Always something to do. And then breathe. We all meet in down dog. Left toe goes to the sky. Step forward. Left side crescent lunge. Lower that back knee. Deep breath, inhale, rise up. So pause here first for a breath or two. Again, don't let that knee fall out. Make sure the ankle is pushed into the floor to keep good alignment with that lower leg. On the exhale, twist to the left. You're going to feel that through the right hip. Inhale, come up. Exhale, twist to the right. Relax the shoulders down and back. Good. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bring your hands down to frame that front foot. Now take a deep breath, inhale. On your exhale, you're going to drive your left glute, straighten the left leg. Left big toe goes to the sky. Amazing stretch in the left calf and hamstring. And then I gave you that little option of doing some circles here for your foot. Believe it or not, our feet, I'm dealing with a lot with my stretch clients, a lot of locked up feet right now because we're inside more, we're not out being active. And if you don't have stability here in the foot, you're not going to have any mobility in your knee. It's like, mobility in your foot, you're not going to have stability in the knee. It's just this chain reaction. Now let the foot come down, sweep that right arm up, and just get the length in this tissue all the way down to the hip. Now bring the hands down to frame the front foot. Option to tip the back toe under. You're going to stay where Kerry is on the knee. And then twist. So you have two options to twist today. Just don't let that knee fill out. Yeah, there you go. You could do that forever and nothing would happen, but that one time it might tweak your knee and I don't want that to happen for you. So. All right, bring your hands down to frame the foot, step back, high plank. Now, option to stay here or take a chaturanga. We're not going to do as many as we would do in a 3 class, but I do want to give you the option if you'd like to take it. Good. Now, look to the top of your mat and soften your knees. Either walk your feet forward or jump forward and find your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, chair pose. Now, for this chair pose, bring your big toes together and allow about a fist between your ankles so the knees track well here. Now, we're going to give you a couple of options for twisting chair. So on your exhale, you're going to find that left elbow in the inside of the right thighs, or Kerry's going to take her left hand down, right fist to the hip, and she's just going to do a gentle twist this way. If you want to make the twist deeper, anchor the left elbow to the outside of the thigh and then rise that right arm up. You can open up the left arm. You could take the block to the outside. There's a lot of options you could do here to get your most effective twist. Now the only thing I would do with Kerry is I would have her come out of the pose for a second, squeeze the block. Terry, you'll recognize this. Now come into chair and see how her knees are coming a little bit more in line to keep them happy. Now exhale, fold to the floor. Take your hands and gently interlock them behind the small of your back and rise up for chest expansion. Let the head melt down towards the floor. Release the bind that's on your hands and inhale and rise back up. Exhale, chair pose. We'll prepare to twist on the left side. So as Kerry gets ready to twist, I'm going to show you this from this angle. When you twist your chair, try not to be here. Scoop your shoulders down and back and find length from the head down to the tail. And then on the exhale, that's where you twist from. Yep, she can put her hand on the block. I would bring it a little bit closer to you.
Should I use this one too?
I really would. I would too. If you got pillows, whatever you can grab. So see, yeah, there you go. I wouldn't normally grab somebody like that, but she's young and she's a gymnast, so I know she could tolerate it. But yeah, and so with every exhale, could you grow more in your pose? And twist just a tiny bit more. Exhale, fold to the floor. Take a deep breath, inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands reach to the floor, step back, high plank. Now, take a deep breath, inhale, rise up to down dog. And then inhale and find a plank. We're just gonna move gently here through this. Does that feel okay on the wrist? Mm-hmm. And then drive up, down dog. Inhale, high plank. This time when you come up to down dog, I want you to start to round your spine like you're doing a cat pose. Find some room to grow in your shoulder blades. Inhale, same thing, round up and then sink into, I'll show you from this angle, sink into your high plank. Round up from the thoracic spine, drop the head, last time. Round up, round up, round up, and then sink the shoulder blades into the spine for your high plank. Nicely done. Drive the hips up, take the right leg with you.
Yeah.
That was my hip, yeah. Step forward, cracking and popping are all part of the process, right? Inhale, warrior one, right side. Excellent, warrior two. So we've been here before, the body knows where to go. Now take your palm to the sky and reverse your warrior. So I always give you this cue. What does this mean when I say this? I'm asking her to reach out of the hip up to the sky. Not so much peeling back. You feel how that opens this all up?
Yeah. Does my hand still go on my leg?
So the hand, great question. Hand could be in your back pocket, or if you want more work, let it come down and feel how you have to activate your core here just a little bit more to keep yourself upright. Come back to warrior two for me, please. Start to straighten the front leg. Shake your tail feathers on that left glute behind you and reach towards us and then fall for triangle pose. So for Kerry today in her wrist, I'm going to bring the floor a little bit closer to her for triangle pose. Looks good. So those left toes are turned on the wide part of her mat, right toes are forward. Take the palm, left palm to the small of your back. See if you can't open up more and look at the ceiling. You're gonna feel a deep, deep sense of release through that groin and inner thigh area on the right thigh, right? It's all connected. Exhale, turn towards the floor. Turn the left toe and slide it in. You can take your block out in front of that right foot and find pyramid pose. So pyramid pose is a great pose to release the posterior chain of the body. Now I can see that Kerry's heel is a little lifted, so I'm gonna slide her foot in right about to there. Now she's got all four corners of her feet connected to the ground. Drop your head down like you're gonna kiss your knee. And the reason for that is, I'll show you guys. I'll show you when we're done with class.
Oh, should I move back?
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good. I was going to show them the picture of the fascial line.
Oh.
So this fascial line, I've said this in class all the time, it attaches at the forehead, runs all the way down here into both legs to the sole of the foot. So if you have plantar fasciitis, this is a pose that you could really get a lot of benefit out of. Drop the head and melt it more. You feel that all the way up your back.
Can I bend my arms?
Sure you could.
Okay.
Sure you could. She asked if she could bend her arms, and I said absolutely. Now watch. I'm going to give you this little adjustment because it's just so darn good for us. Her hips, the headlights of her hips are facing down, right? I'm going to have her, without moving her torso or her legs, slowly turn the inside of the left hip. That headlight is shooting towards the inside of the right thigh. Do you feel that down your IT band?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so it's like this. You have these headlights, right, on your hips. And instead of them shooting down towards the floor, you're just taking that left one, it's off center, and it's targeting here, so you're feeling all that work through there, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So this would be internal rotation of that left hip. Now we're going to externally rotate the left hip. So watch. Find balance again through both hips. Take the weight onto the right foot, soften the knee. Now you have an option to use your block here. Your hands can reach the floor. We're going to balancing half moon. I'm going to switch the camera just a little bit so you can see how I'm going to get her there. What Kerry's going to do is she's going to lift her left leg off the floor.
Can I use the floor then?
Yes,
Okay.
use the floor. And we're going to externally rotate the hip outward now. Push energy out of the heel. Those of you that have been doing yoga for a while, you know this pose. You could go ahead and lift a hand off the floor. You could take your left arm up to the sky if you had the balance, or bring it up to me. Yeah. And I'm giving her support now. Feel how you grew
Oh
there.
my god, yeah.
So she's opening up, externally rotating the left hip. We just did internal rotation. So all that work we did in crescent lunge to open up the front of the hip, now we're hitting it from all different angles. Fantastic. Turn the hip back down to the floor. Bring the hand to me. Set the toe down, step back, downward dog. That felt great, right?
Mhm. That was nice.
Okay, so left foot goes to the sky for left side warrior one. So right toes are turned to the wide part of her mat. Right? Exhale, warrior two, shoulders down and back. So, think about chandelier earrings. They should not be able to touch the tops of your shoulder. And if I were to be home in your house and push your arms down, you have strength there, right? So now we're going to reverse your warrior. Take that arm up. And this is a great, looking at it from this angle is really kind of fun. So if you're plagued with back issues, or maybe you're just not feeling all that present today, maybe just take your hand to your back pocket and rest there. Reach from the hip up, okay? If you want more work through the core, release the hand to the floor. And I always give you this analogy in class of having a super band. These are super bands. So if I was in reverse warrior, I would be creating length that way with my arms, reaching and pressing away. Fantastic. She's going to come back up to warrior two now. Keeping that front knee bent and anchored. Prepare for triangle. I always teach triangle this way. You guys probably get sick of me doing this, but it invites the length that we're asking the body to glean. So she's going to straighten her front knee, and she's going to drive her right glute behind her. Nope. So that's okay. Drive the right glute behind. Toes stay the same. And then reach with your left fingertips as far as you can until you can't go any further, and fold. Beautiful. So I can tell by looking at Kerry already, she's got some tightness going on here. So I'm going to help her just a little bit. Feel that?
Yeah.
Painful?
Just a stretch.
Okay, big stretch. She's a college student, so she does a lot of sitting and studying. And we're all doing a lot more sitting these days, aren't we? Awesome. So I gave you the option of bending this arm, bringing the forearm or the hand to the small of your back, and then finding a deeper twist and taking the eyes with you. Because all the tissue in the lower body at some point comes up and connects to the head. So anytime we can add movement of the neck, it builds intrinsic strength there. Think about it, your lifetime, you're carrying 15 pounds of weight in your head on your torso. That's why we find deterioration in cervical vertebrae, because of all the rotation and the weight that is on the head. Now, Kerry's going to exhale and bring the hand down to the block. She's going to turn the back toe and find pyramid pose. So remember, we adjusted that pyramid pose the first time she did it, right? Because the heel was up. But now on this side, it looks like she has it. I get asked this question all the time, am I supposed to lock out my front leg or my back leg? Really, we don't ever want to lock out a joint. The straighter you can get this leg in the pose, you're going to feel a lot more release in the hamstring. But if it's uncomfortable and your breath is compromised, then I would suggest just softening that knee a little bit. Let your head drape down and find that release all the way down the head. Now, take a deep breath, inhale. Remember, she's not going to move her torso or her legs. I can tell you already, this side of her body is much tighter than the other side. On the exhale, she's going to turn That hip, do you feel that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I can tell already the way her hip was opened up that this was going to be a struggle for her to get here. So that's why I'm kind of squeezing her calf. On this exhale, turn the hip a little. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
See how her body wants to, her upper body wants to compromise. You probably can't see this, but when you watch it on demand, you will. Big stretch for you, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, my hamstring.
So this is all releasing the IT band and that sits in that lateral line of fascia on the left side of the body. That was Watson crying, not Kerry. Now, recenter your hips back, headlights out in front. Soften the left knee. She's going to lift the right leg, hands are on the mat, for balancing half moon. So I'm going to come in and provide some support here for her. What I'm going to do is let her lean on me, and I'm going to ask that right hip to externally rotate out. That probably feels really good. Is it your right wrist that's bothering you?
Yeah, this one you can see the bone when it's
Yeah.
like that.
Push the heel away. So a lot of times people want to point their toe here. Go ahead and push your heel away. Flex your foot and see if you notice a difference in the hip. Point your toe and then flex it. Do you feel the difference?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm stretched out, so I don't feel it as much.
Okay, good. Awesome. Go ahead and bring the foot back to the floor and let your body just drape down. Let's find a halfway lift here. We'll resend to the camera for a second. So we're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's rise all the way up to stand. And we're going to exhale, bring the hands to heart center and do some balance work. So right side eagle pose. You're going to stand on the left knee, soften it, take the right toe and just wrap it around. Remember, if you feel today you need to have that right toe on the floor, that's fine. Arms go wide, thread the right arm underneath the left, and I'm actually doing this pose to help her release that wrist. Now, if you can remove, soften the knee, and take your gaze right out in front. Try to get those elbows lifted up. And I would ask her to wrap her toes around the lower part of her leg a little bit more and soften that knee. Beautiful. I've told classes before, for years when I was bodybuilding, I couldn't do this pose because I could not wrap my arms. So if it's bothersome for the shoulders, just stack the hands on your shoulders and just cross the elbows. Okay, release that pose. Deep breath, inhale. And then we'll exhale and do it on the other side. So soft bend in the right knee. We're going to cross that left foot over. Take the arms wide and thread them. And then rise up. Soften that right knee if you feel a little wobbly. Remember, you always have a stronger base of support with a softened knee as opposed to a straight leg, right? Nicely done. And then release that pose. We're going to do one more standing pose today. Bring your hands to heart center. Soften the right knee and take the left toe behind you for warrior 3. So options for warrior 3. We're going to push energy out of the left heel and pitch our body forward. That brings and invites more extension into the left hip. You can find a home for your hands, whether they're out in front, full expression of the pose, airplane arms behind you, out to the side, or keeping them at heart center. Or if your back is a little cranky today, just take your hands to your thighs. There's always something to do. Make sure your drishti is out in front. Don't look behind. We always look out front. And then slowly come back to stand. Good. Nice deep breath, inhale. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Soften that front knee, take the toe back. Remember, you're going to push energy out of the right heel as you pitch your body forward, creating length from the top of the head all the way down to the heel. And then find a home for your hands. And it's helpful if you find your gaze. And If you feel like you're losing your balance, that means your monkey mind has left the mat. So bring it back to center by just breathing. One more breath. And then bring your feet together. Nice deep breath, inhale. Exhale, let's fold down towards the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Go ahead and just rock your hips side to side. Just march them and hike them a little bit. Create some space there. On an inhale, you're going to lift the right leg up and soften the knee and pull it underneath the body for pigeon pose, half pigeon. So, remember your option for pigeon is always to come down to the ground and do an upside down. Barbara, if that doesn't feel good, I've got 2 Barbs on the line today, if that doesn't feel good. Now, if you're going to be in this position, go ahead and take your arms wide on the mat and give yourself a few little push-ups to get your body down towards the mat on the exhale. Now I'm giving her a little bit of extra support there. Now I already know that this side of Kerry's body's tight from what she showed me in pyramid. So we're gonna let her come all the way down to the floor and just kind of pause here. She can let her head melt. You can see where her shin is lining up here. I would try to see if I could get her maybe to move that foot up here a little bit more. Is that too tight?
No, I think I'm
Is that okay on your knee?
Mm-hmm.
So remember, lots of times in yoga, they'll tell you that they want that front shin lined up with the front of the mat. I will tell you, it's been my experience teaching yoga for over 20 years and teaching classes for 37, that it's very difficult anatomically for people to do that. And if it's painful, they're not going to do the pose and get the benefit out of it. So, you know, find where you can be in this pose, breathe and release. And remember, I gave you this option all the time. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm rocking my hips side to side. This is a fascial, we call it stretch wave in fascial stretch therapy. It helps bring openness in all those muscular fibers and tissue throughout the glute. Doesn't that feel great?
Mm-hmm.
Just rock it side to side. Now, using our hands, we're going to bring ourselves back up to downward facing dog using the strength in our arms. Take your time getting there. There's no hurry, nowhere to be. Take the left toe up to the sky, and we're going to find left side half pigeon. We take our hands wide, and again, Kerry's got 2 blocks there, so she can find support. This side's different, see? Right? It feels totally different, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, body doesn't lie. So exhale, come closer down to the mat, inhale. This just helps the body guide it there a little bit more gently than just plopping into the pose. If you were doing your practice in a 90-degree room, you'd probably be able to get there a lot easier, but most of us are not, so just gonna give you a little extra love in getting there. And then just take 5 breaths. It's 10:13 already. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then just go ahead and rock those hips. And then from here, just go ahead and rock all the way over to the left glute and bring the legs forward. And we're just going to find ourselves in a seated position facing forward. All right, so boat pose. Remember, you have options for boat. If you feel like you want to bring your hands to the mat, that's fine. Other option would be you can stay where Kerry is or go to wide boat. Just make sure that you're keeping your chest lifted, right? We're not rounding out. We cannot access the power and strength from our core if we're rounded. Keep your heart lifted. You can always grab the outer edges of your feet as well. And go ahead and bring your feet together. Let your legs come out for a seated forward fold. Inhale, rise your arms up, and then exhale, fold forward. On the inhale, rise back up and soften the right knee. Sit nice and tall, seated spinal twist. You're going to take your left arm and wrap it around the right knee. Great stretch for that right wrist. Fingertips go behind you. Keep the spine nice and long, and then on the exhale, twist. Nice crack.
Oh my god.
Did you guys hear that? She had a massive crack in her back. Was that in your back or hip?
Yeah, my back right here.
Good. Awesome. Come forward. Let the knee drop out to the side. Single leg, seated forward fold. Inhale, rise up, and then exhale, come forward. Awesome. And rise back up. You're going to take your right ankle and cross it over to the left. Hands come behind you. You're going to slide the left foot up for seated pigeon. Keep the heart lifted. You feel that? Okay. So you have the option to stay here with Kerry, or you can do cradle the baby. If you want to try this, go ahead. You can take the elbow, right knee, and sit nice and tall. Release the left leg. Now, I always love giving this. I don't do this all the time. I forget about this pose, but I want you to close your eyes for a moment and think about, we're going to cradle the baby, then rock the baby. The movement doesn't come from the elbows and the hands shifting the legs side to side. It comes from inside the hip joint. So oftentimes I'll tell class, close your eyes and just imagine you're moving the head of that femur in and out of the hip joint. Sit nice and tall. Yeah, there you go. Feel it now.
Yeah, no, I do.
So a lot of times when you come across, it's like you're scouring the head of the femur inside the hip joint to clear up any stickiness there. Doesn't that feel amazing? Yes, Stacy, it does. They're all on mute, so no one can say anything. I'm teasing you. I do that all the time too. All right, let that leg come down. Excellent. Let's pull the left knee in. Sit nice and tall. Remove any extra tissue on our butt cheeks. Sit tall. Wrap that arm around. Lengthen the spine, and on the exhale, rotate. And then slowly come back. Take that foot, and drop it out. Sorry, we're going to do a single leg forward fold. I almost forgot. Deep breath, inhale. Exhale, fold. Beautiful. Inhale, come back up. We'll take that ankle and cross it onto the right thigh. Hands come back, sit nice and tall. Slide the foot in for seated pigeon. Take 3 breaths. This is kind of the prep for cradle the baby. And then slowly let that foot come down. You're going to grab onto the foot for cradle the baby. Sit nice and tall. Try not to slouch, right? You want to keep length through the torso. And then close your eyes and just scour the head of that femur inside. Awesome. All right, bring that foot down and let the soles of your feet come together for butterfly pose. Take a deep breath, inhale. On this exhale, pull your belly to your spine and round out for cat pose. So we're doing cat from butterfly. I'm going to turn on the side so you can see how my spine articulates here. On the inhale, I'm going to lift my heart and gaze goes up. On the exhale, I'm going to pull my belly into my spine and round out. Inhale, cow pose, shoulder blades get squeezed, my eyes go up. Exhale, cat. Inhale, open. And then exhale, round out. Good. Take your hands to the outside of your knees and bring them back up and slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Let the soles of the feet come together, one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart for Supta Baddha Konasana. You could close your eyes here, and this is just a nice nervous system reset. And just take a few breaths. So we will do a few inversions in class here, just to finish. So we're gonna bring, Kerry's gonna bring her knees together, palms by her side. She's gonna go to legs on the wall. So she's just gonna take her legs right up in the air. Yep. I would just let your feet go neutral. Great question. She should ask me, should she flex her feet or point her toes? I said, just go neutral. Remember, if you ever wake up in the middle of the night and have difficulty sleeping, this is the pose for you. There's a lot of research out there that supports that legs on the wall helps insomnia. So, next pose here, if you want to do a shoulder stand, you could go there now. So what you do is kick your legs up and bring the heels of your hands underneath that posterior ridge of the hip joint. Yeah. And it's nice to keep hips, knees, everything in good alignment here. And then if you wanted to add plow pose, you could slowly allow the toes to melt down over the head, tailbone to the sky, and arms just reach down to the mat. The option here also,
I know, but
I got it for you,
thank you.
is deaf man's pose. So Kerry, I'm not sure if you can see this, she could bend her knees, frame her ears for deaf man's pose. So deaf man's pose, I'll show you that, is here, a little less torque or strain on the back if plow doesn't feel comfortable for you. And certainly you can always stay with legs on the wall or another pose of your choice. On the way back, soften the knees. Allow your hands to reach through to your feet for happy baby. So the spine's gonna start to come down to the floor. Kerry's gonna reach her hands through to catch onto her feet for happy baby. If you ever watch a baby in this pose, and I've seen my granddaughter do this a lot, sometimes rocking side to side, feels really yummy. And then slowly, Kerry's gonna bring her knees to her chest, give him a nice big hug, and then let the feet reach to the floor for final relaxation. Eyes closed. Our reading today is Ways We Numb Ourselves. Numbing yourself prevents you from confronting your issues and keeps you from ever finding resolution or peace. We are born equipped to experience a complex array of diverse emotions. Many of us, however, are uncomfortable confronting our most powerful emotions. We may shy away from delight and despair and deny life's colors by retreating into a world of monotone gray. We may numb ourselves to what we are truly feeling. It's easier to suppress our emotions than to deal with them, so we may momentarily turn to pleasures such as alcohol, food, sugar, shopping, and too much television. We may even numb our hearts. While it's normal to temporarily seek distractions as a means of coping with intense emotions, numbing yourself prevents you from confronting your issues and keeps you from ever finding resolution or peace. When you are numb, there is no pain or powerlessness, but there can also be no joy or healing. The activities that numb you may seem harmless or pleasurable, but using them to numb yourself diminishes the quality of your life. Numbing yourself so that you don't have to feel intense emotions can often satisfy a surface need while blocking your awareness of a deeper need. You may find solace in food or shopping when what you really need is spiritual nourishment. The less you feel, the less alive you feel. Your feelings add vividness to your experiences and serve to connect you to the world around you. It is possible to disavow yourself of numbing behaviors a little at a time and once again taste life's rich flavors. When you sense that you're engaging in a particular behavior simply to deaden your emotions, stop and ask yourself why. Examining the feelings that you drive out to numb yourself can help you understand what is triggering your desire to emotionally fade out. With each numbing activity that you cut out of your life, you'll find yourself being more aware and experiencing a greater emotional acuity. Senses once shrouded by the fog of numbness become sharp and acute. Traumas and pain long hidden will emerge to the forefront of your consciousness and reveal them so that you can heal them. You'll discover a deeper you, a self that is comfortable experiencing and working through intense emotions with courage and grace. So go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes and just draw your awareness back to your mat, space and breath. You could go ahead and roll on your side and we'll just come up to a seated position and close class together, just as we started class together. All right, take a nice deep breath, inhale, and bring your hands to heart center and just close your eyes and put a smile on your face. No matter what's going on the outside, whether it's snowing or cold or gray, life on the inside can be joyous, sunny, and warm. By just taking a few moments to move with breath on our mat, we glean the goodness that we need to be courageous and graceful as we walk through life, especially during uncertain times. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was awesome to have Kerry here with us. I hope you were blessed today. Namaste.